Hi, I'm Kaci Graham, and drugs are an expanding societal issue in American society. Drug problems are intertwined. People do drugs because they're depressed or they're trying to fulfill a void in their life. It is not a societal need to do drugs. Behind the recent spike in heroin deaths is also a spike in the number of Americans using prescription painkillers. Generally, it starts with an addiction to those, and then users switch to heroin for a cheaper high. Philip Seymour Hoffman is an example of that. He was addicted to prescription drugs and then went to heroin and died just last month of an overdose because he just couldn't stop. Opiates such as Oxycontin, Vicodin, and Percocet have a similar chemical makeup to heroin and can also be highly addictive. This has led to an abuse crisis costing the U.S. more than $55 billion in lost economic output in 2009. But unlike heroin, they are legal with a prescription and generate billions to the pharmaceutical industry every year. Dozens of deaths in Pennsylvania, Vermont, and elsewhere have been linked to form a heroin-laced, it's like a heroin laced with fentanyl, a potent painkiller. Here's a chart showing painkillers and the heroin market. The top line refers to the heroin and the bottom line the painkillers. As you can see from the early 1990s, there's been a huge increase in both heroin and the painkillers. 4 out of every 5 people that are hooked to prescription drugs end up switching to heroin because it's cheaper. Here's a map of the United States showing what states are highly involved with different drugs. Green is the marijuana, yellow is other stimulants, the orange is opiates, and the red is heroin, although I'm pretty sure Ohio should be considered pretty heavily in heroin these days.
Just Marion.
Symbolic interactionist approach is what people believe about something even though proven truths say otherwise. How it applies to drugs is even though it's very apparent nothing good comes from drugs, people will still do them because they believe it will make things better in their lives or make them feel better about things in their lives. The assumption of the approach is that society is an ongoing process and people interact in countless settings using symbolic communication. The reality is that their experiences are variable and changing as society changes. How it relates to drug use, the symbolic communication such as hearing about or seeing someone famous as a role model, doing or being addicted to drugs may cause them to want to do drugs also. They disregard the fact that drugs are bad for them, and as the drug scene continues to grow in the world, more and more people are jumping on the bandwagon. Some interesting facts about drugs. The Obama administration has spent over $10 billion to drug education programs and expanding access to treatment. According to the White House Office of National Drug Control Policy, prescription drug abuse is the country's fastest growing drug problem and has been classified as an epidemic by the CDC. For the celebrities, we'll start with Corey Monteith. He just died last year at the age of 31. He played Finn Hudson in the TV series Glee. He was found dead in his Vancouver hotel room after taking a lethal cocktail of heroin and booze. Kurt Cobain was the Nirvana frontman. He was found in 1994 at his Lake Washington home by an electrician who had arrived to install his security system. He did kill himself, but the suicide note it was found. But there was a high concentration of heroin, and traces of diazepam were also found in his body. Whitney Houston died last year. She was found unconscious and submerged in the bathtub of her suite in her Beverly Hills hotel, where she was getting ready for the pre-Grammy party. Attempts to revive her failed, and although the coroner ruled the death as accidental, cocaine and other drugs were found in her system. And then Heath Ledger, the popular Joker of Batman, was found unconscious in his bed by his housekeeper, who first frantically called his friend Mary Kay Olsen for help and then dialed 911. Paramedics couldn't revive him, and it was later ruled he had died from acute intoxication from the combination effects of 6 different prescription drugs. Anna Nicole Smith also died from a drug overuse. Her death was ruled to be combined drug intoxication with the sleep drug chlorohydrate was the major cause. And lastly, Philip Seymour Hoffman, we talked about earlier in the presentation. He was found dead from a heroin overdose just February 2nd this year. This use of heroin and drugs with celebrities is why so many people think it's cool or think it's fun to begin taking drugs in the first place, because most celebrities are our role models, so they tend to follow, and that is why society changes and people do that. So that was my presentation, and thank you for watching. Stop it.